Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So, check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James. Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Well, check out Deal to Heal Tees. With our inspirational tees, you're sure to find something that will inspire you. Just go to dealtohealtees.myshopify.com. That's Deal to Heal Tees. Get some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. That's Deal to Heal Tees at dealtohealtees.myshopify.com. Hey guys, this is Ernest James, host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, and I got a question to ask you. Could you buy me a cheeseburger? Better yet, could you buy me a value meal? Yes? Well, guess what? I don't need a value meal. However, for the cost of a value meal, you can support this podcast to keep us on the air. Just go to Patreon/Deal to Heal podcast and choose any one of the 3 tiers that's available. And if you just want to make a one-time donation, go to Cash App and make a donation to $EJames, the number 418. Make a one-time donation to the Cash App, or again, go to Patreon to support this podcast and keep us on the air. Thanks in advance. Be blessed. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I am your host, Ernest James, and I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, to heal, and to fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you listen, like, subscribe, and share to the podcast on all of our social media outlets, definitely on our YouTube channel and all of the places where you listen to our podcast audibly, out of your platforms. Make sure that you are sharing. Don't keep it to yourself, but share it with someone else that we are here and we are doing big things with the podcast. Also, make sure you check out our partner podcast, the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with E. James, which is myself. On our YouTube channel, we actually share a channel. So when you go to YouTube and subscribe to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, when you look on there as a playlist under podcast, you will also get the Girl Dad Discussions podcast. But make sure that you also subscribe to the Girl Dad Discussions podcast on your podcast listening platforms. All right. Thank you guys again. One more thing. Also, I'm going to tell you guys how you can win $100 from the podcast, but you have to stay until the end of the episode to get that information. So our next segment is our product of the week. As you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, which means the way that we stay on the air and able to do the things that we need to do is by bringing you amazing products that you can purchase in order to help us to stay on the air. So our product of the week is one of my latest ebooks, which is called Start Your Podcast Now in Only 3 Simple Steps. Let's start Start Your Podcast Now in only 3 simple steps. You can find that at our main website, which is dealhealfulfill.org. Or you can make it real simple. Just go to ebooksbyejames.com. That's ebooksbyejames.com to get our product of the week, which is our my newest ebook, which is called Start Your Podcast Now in Only 3 Steps. Because you guys are listening to podcasts, and I know you're saying, you know what, if Ernest can do it, I can do it. So you is very right. You can do it. And I laid out the blueprint for you to be able to jump in and do what you need to do, right? So our product of the week again is our ebook you can find it at ebooksbyejames.com, which is our ebook, Start Your Podcast Now in 3 simple steps. So today, just like any other day, we are blessed with the guest, Miss Veronica. How are you doing?
I'm finding you.
I am good. I am good. First of all, let me say thank you for being on, because you could have been doing anything else, but you took our time to be here with me and my listeners, and we definitely appreciate it. So, Veronica, do me a favor, introduce yourself to my listeners and tell them or us who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I appreciate the invitation. My name is Veronica White. I have a non-for-profit. It's called Help from a Sister. And what we do is it's a community outreach. It's me providing a platform for my friends and family and me to share our stories, tools and techniques that we've used or that we've acquired over the years that transform our lives from one stage to the next. So therefore, we can share the information. And if anybody hears anything that resonates with them or that they feel is useful, take it, apply it to your life, because that's the only way you're going to see the change.
All right.
So
All right.
we have several outreach programs.
Okay. Okay. So do me a favor, Veronica, because I know you are awesome woman and you have a lot of things going on now, but you weren't always the version of yourself that you are. So take us back a little bit and tell us a little bit about who was Veronica before you started Help from a Sister, and even what motivated you to even start it.
Okay. I was a single mom raising 2 kids and just I was living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to figure it out. In the process, I enrolled my kids in football and cheerleading. I wanted to make sure I had a decision in every aspect of their lives. So I put them in activities where I volunteered to have a say-so. So I volunteered for Down Bears for 15 years and went to school, worked, just wanted to be a present parent for my kids because I was the only parent they had. Besides my family, which was the village that helped me also.
Yeah.
One day my brother calls me and says for his birthday, he wants to go out and feed the homeless. And I'm like, okay, well, now my kids are grown. I have more free time to myself. And he tells me like, hey, since my birthday's coming up, for my birthday, I just want to go and feed the homeless. So I'm like, okay, what's the budget? He was like, no, I said, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to feed them? So he was like, well, sandwiches, care packages. I'm like, okay, well, what's the budget? Like about 1,500. I said, okay, cool. I went on Amazon and within 4 hours, I had a care package of items that we discussed for him to purchase. I reached out to 3 different homeless shelters. And then I also knew about the homeless shelter, where some homeless people live right around 22nd Street off the Express.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I got a list and said, okay, these are the places we're going to go. We're going to give care packages and we're going to give food to him. And that's what we did for his birthday. And so from there, I was like, wow, okay, that's awesome. And then somehow I was like, well, Help from a Sister. I'm a sister. And my brother came to me with it. So that's where the name was birthed. But it was, yeah. That's pretty much the story how Help from a Sister was started.
Oh man, and that's awesome. And it's amazing, like you mentioned earlier about first of all the community of of family that comes together in your time of need. You mentioned about volunteering, but even in your volunteering, you became part of a community that was not only helping yourself but helping other mothers. I know that even my stepsons, we put them in football early. For that same reason, we didn't volunteer, but we still wanted them to have that structure and put them in sports and things like that early to keep them from the other things that they could get into. And so I understand how that village comes together, because even in that community that we were a part of, there were a lot of single mothers who was on the same journey that you're on. Like, okay, let me put my sons in something that's going to be productive, to keep them away from some of the other things. And so that village plays a large role, when it comes to not just raising your kids, but in everything that you go to do. And I think that's amazing. And even it shows the heart of the person, right? And so even with your brother having his heart to be like, you know what, this is something I want to do, and then for you to take that same, not only come on that journey with him, but then take it and run with it, to turn it into a whole nother thing. And it's just amazing how God works in ways that, we're not even thinking about it. And I know we were talking a little bit before the call, about some of these things that we don't necessarily choose, but it's like it chooses us. The calling chooses us, and then we have the opportunity to answer the call or not. And when we answer the call, we can see how God continues to bless it. And so that being said, one of the ways that we met was in a community, a whole different community, but a community called the Morning Meetup with David Shans. Shout out to Dave. And we're David is out of Atlanta, and we're here in the Chicagoland area, and that's where we met there. And definitely, I think even though we are fresh on our beginning of this journey, or should I say, I am. You've been a entrepreneur for a while. So first of all, let me say this. So those who don't know, the morning meetup is a meeting of entrepreneurs that meet every morning, and I don't get paid to say this, right? Dave ain't sending me no check, but I do believe in community, and I do believe in that the movement that he has created. And again, from that movement is how we even met. And so it's a community of entrepreneurs that meet every morning. And so that's even kind of how we met. So I'm new to the entrepreneur space, but I think you've been an entrepreneur for a while, haven't you? What are some of the businesses that you even have now that you're still doing?
Oh wow. Yes. I'm gonna say since 2005. I have a tax business in Calumet City. I invest in real estate. I do fix and flips and buy and hold. Mm,
Yeah.
I'm a business consultant. I help form business companies. I do budgeting. There's a list of things. Taxes, in
Yeah.
addition to business and personal. So, yes.
Yeah. And one of the things that I don't even know if I told you this, but I definitely appreciate, about you is your willingness to share. Your willingness to share the information that you have, and to open up your space literally, and that's one thing we can talk about too, even opening up your space to allow us to have a place to meet, to come together. And then even in us coming together, with you being able to take the reins, so to speak, of even in that, to share with us. And like I said, I'm new to the entrepreneur, sort of new on this level. I'm new, right? In the entrepreneur space. And so I appreciate you, taking out the time to, share with us, and even allowing us to start forming our own community here in Chicago, that can be a place where we all can learn and grow together. So what was maybe in your heart that even made it for you to be like, because there's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff, right? But
Correct.
a lot of times when you ask the question like, okay, how do you do whatever, there's a price tag behind it. But I know that with the things that we've been a part of and the conversations that we've had, that's not your goal. Again, you had help from a sister. You know what I'm saying? So what's been the driving force behind that to be like, okay, I'm willingly ready to help those who are in need?
I would say for my upbringing and just life in general, I'm aware of the fact that there's a lot of people that have information that they feel that is valuable. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's about lessons. I've had to learn, research, and study to acquire this knowledge. But just because I've acquired it that way, the next person don't need to. Let me share it to make their journey a little quicker than mine. So that's my journey of sharing the information. I want other people to succeed and live the life that they want to live. Because at the end of the day, it's a self journey. If you're willing to do the work, I can give you the information, but if you're not going to take it and apply it to your life, it's useless. And that's most people don't want to do the work. But if you have a person that's willing to do the work, I can sit and share all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is crazy because even what was mentioning, like for those people who do have a price tag behind it, or um, influencers, let's say social media influencers who may do lives and things like that, and they're sharing their information, but they're like, well, I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm only going to tell you so much, you know. And some of that come from the fear of competition. But it goes back to what you said. A lot of times you can give all the information. Only about a good 10% of people are going to use it. You know what I mean? The other 10 of it, they just happy to know it, right? But they ain't really going to do nothing with it. So, we don't have to harbor the lessons that we've learned. We don't have to harbor the things that we've been taught. We can be very open about, helping one another and being able to do that. And I know one of the things, even though I did write the ebook recently that started your podcast now, but I'm just more recent celebrated 100 episodes of the Deal to Heal with James podcast. Thank you.
Yeah.
And but on this journey, I've came across a lot of podcasters and a lot of people who wanted to start and just openly shared, hey, what are you doing? Well, this is what I learned. This is how I do this, and this is how you use that. And that same heart that again, information that I may have had to pay for, which I did like 2 times over. But again, like, why do I have to uh make your journey harder than mine, or
Mm.
just as hard as mine? I can make it easier for you to learn and to give you the information that you don't even have to search for. There are information that we may have had to look for, we had to find it, some hit and miss, and some trials that we have made in the midst of it. But just because that's what I went through doesn't mean you have to go through the same thing. And I don't feel that. I feel that we are blessed to be a blessing, right?
Yes.
And some of our tests is used for testimonies, not so I can tell you the test and then watch you go through the same thing that I went through. It's for me to be able to tell you my testimony so you can learn from it. And so I think that we don't have to have that same heart where, or not the same heart, but we don't have to have that same mindset that because I had a heart, you got to have a heart too. I think that each generation we should get better, and those around us, as we grow, those around us should grow also. I believe that we should always be what I call feeding and leading, right? So
Yeah.
we should always be feeding ourselves, whether it's knowledge, wisdom, whatever. But then at the same time, as we learn, then we're leading someone else behind us, and that's the way that we realize that we've really learned what we've been studying. When you're able to teach it to someone else and lead to someone else through it. So yeah, so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. Yes. Each one teach one.
Yeah, Yeah. So speaking of podcasts, you did start your podcast. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what is the premise of the podcast, and what are you hoping that your audience walks away with when they listen to it?
Empower, uplift, and encourage. Right. I want to share stories. All the stories are not going to be happy. It was just
Mhm.
my life experience, things that's happened. I want to share the information. So if someone else is in that situation and they feel that that's the end of the road, they can't make it, they can't go another day. Yeah, you can. I did. So if I can go another day, there's hope for you. And so that's what I want to do. I want to provide a platform to share my stories, challenges, inspiration, uplifting. Then I want to have my family and friends, which is my village and a community that we're starting, to share their stories, tools, and techniques that they've used or they've acquired over the years. And
Yeah,
let's create a community of people helping people
I
with
like
no
that.
strings attached. We need to, yeah, just help more.
Yeah,
From
I like that. I like that. So how has the podcast journey been for you so far? So how many episodes do you have at this moment?
so I released 2 episodes
Hmm.
and I have 6 more to release. Oh, so I
Okay.
have it scheduled for every Saturday right now.
Okay. Okay. So how has the journey been? Because I know when I first started, like I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a mic. I've upgraded a little bit since I over the 100 episodes, right? But I started with my phone, and that was just so nerve wracking to me to try to do the podcast and record with the little phone. Like I said, I've upgraded since then, but just it's since your journey of starting your podcast, how has that journey been for you?
Hmm, very interesting. I would say I'm really blessed to have purchased equipment that I didn't know how to use. So
Okay.
I purchased the equipment, I want to say over a year ago. And I just started my podcast because now I'm learning how all the equipment works together. So I'm still learning it. I have not mastered editing, but based on going to the podcast summit with Dave Shans, they like, well, you don't have to edit it. It's okay. We're imperfect people, so we can
Yeah.
be perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. That's what I tell people when I've had recordings where the kids that came in and the dog just barking and all of that, and I always say, look, don't say nothing that you don't want you don't want to be at to come out because I don't edit. Like whatever the conversation has and however the conversation leads, that's what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're doing. So before we get out of here, tell me just in your because I know you're starting a podcast now, and we have you've already started help from a sister, and definitely us, even with our network that we're building, here in Chicago with like minded people. What is your vision? What is Veronica's vision for the next couple years for herself? That because I know you've been the visionary that you are, like you have something up your sleeve, like all right, in the next couple years you're gonna see this besides the podcast, because I know the podcast you just getting started, and definitely I know it's going to be great. In the next couple of years, it's definitely going to go to the next level. But what else is on Veronica's heart, to bring to the people?
So, that's a good question. So, I have several different things that I'm working on in reference to the non for profit. I want to help people with overall health. So, I'm in negotiation for a partnership with my acupuncture doctor for whoever joins my non for profit, they'll receive acupuncture services free.
Okay.
I want to talk to my chiropractor doctor to see if there's something they can do to let people know that there's alternative medicine besides all the drugs that they're pushing into people. There's holistic medicine.
Right.
So I want to create a couple of partnerships with that. I want to be able to do a live podcast in 2024, and build a community of people helping people. And I'm going to start it however I can. However many people that's willing to start and share the information, let's go out there and do it. So
Yeah.
that I have also a food pantry that my non-for-profit on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we give away food to the community. And then we do the book bag giveaway. So I want to have more community events to let more people know about, one, entrepreneurship, two, about not communicating, but involving yourself with like-minded people, people that are actually talking, doing what they say they're doing, and have the proof to show it. So
yeah, and I look forward to not only watching, right? Because I'm definitely watching, but I also look forward to being part of it because I'm definitely, in that same mindset and creating things to help the people. Even myself got some things coming up soon that I'm working on, and definitely want to work with you with this whole live podcast thing and whatever events that we come up with for the next year. And really looking forward to that. I think that when you start building a community, I think it was a movie. I don't remember what movie it was, but I know way back in the days with Wayne's World, it was on there, but I think it was on another movie. But when when they said if you build it, they will come, and I think that when you even the Bible says, well, there are two or three, joined together, and so I think that as we join together with like-mindedness and with the hearts of people to do what's in the best interest of the people, not necessarily for ourselves, that the community will grow, and it'll draw those of like-mindedness, of the same mind, of the same hearts, and we'll really be able to make a difference, not only in the world, but definitely in the city of Chicago and, the surrounding areas. So I look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So, Veronica, again, thank you for being on. Thank you for being on. I want you to have the last word, right? And I want you to leave us with word of advice, word of inspiration. Have you feel, and definitely leave us with your contact information and your social medias where people can find you to be able to work with you. And even to be able to take advantage those in the community of the food drive and things that you do. So I want you to share that information. But I'll give you a minute to think about that. To my listeners, thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I want to make sure that you guys are checking us out. Make sure that you are going to our website. Check us out on our company website, which is dealhealfulfill.org. That's dealhealfulfill.org. On that website, you can find more about me personally, to be able to come out to be a speaker at one of your events, to be a facilitator of workshops, which is what I do. Also, you can find more information about the t-shirt line, Deal to Heal tees that we have, the ebooks, which also can be found at ebooksbyejames.com. But if you go to dealhealfulfill.org, again, that's dealhealfulfill.org, you'll find all the information and the links to be able to connect to everything that we have going on and the products that we have. Also, I've been blessed to be a part of a organization called the Forgiveness Mission. And one of the things that we do is we have free virtual workshops every quarter of the year dealing with forgiveness. We talk about forgiveness, what it is, what it's not, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, and we study adding things on just to have this conversation about forgiveness and bringing it to the world. So you guys can go to forgivenessmission.com. That's forgivenessmission.com to find out more about that and to register. You can register for the event, because whenever you listen to this, either one just ended or one is coming up, because we have them every quarter of the year, and they're absolutely free and they're virtual, so you can sit right in the comfort of your own home or on your phone, wherever you are, and take part in the Forgiveness Mission workshop. So you can go to forgivenessmission.com, or you can go to Eventbrite and look up Forgiveness Mission to register for the next virtual workshop that we're having. And last but not least, I told you guys how you could win $100 from the podcast. So the way that you can win $100 from the podcast is by joining our super subscriber contest. What must you do? You must first subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, and to our podcast on Spotify. And after you've done those three things, you want to text the word WIN, WIN, to the number 866 326 0730. That's 866 326 0730 to qualify to win $100 from the podcast. So the competition, the contest is random and it's ongoing, which means once you're in, you can always win. You don't never have to re-up, because once your name is in the hat, that's it. You always have the opportunity to win, and it's random. So at any time, any day, I can pull a name and you can win $100. Just that simple. So again, enter our super subscriber contest to win $100 by first of all subscribing to our YouTube channel, to our Facebook page, and to our podcast on Spotify. Then text the word WIN, WIN, to the number 866 326 0730 to qualify to win $100. So again, Ms. Veronica, first of all, let me say again, thank you so very much for being on. Thank you for taking out the time to be here with me and my guests, and for all that you do for the community. And I know I can speak for myself. It's been a blessing to connect with you, even in the community, with the things that you're doing, that I can't wait to be more of a part of myself and to witness your journey. That being said, I'll let you have the last word. So the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so I would say my last words are, I would like to leave everyone with the serenity prayer and say it. So if someone's not familiar with it, it's: God, grant me the strength to change the things that I can change, accept the things that I can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So how I interpret that is, God, let me know the things that I can do. And the things I can do, I'm going to do. The things that I can't do, I just need you to release me of that so I don't feel the guilt from it and move forward. So with that being said, again, my name is Veronica White. My non-for-profit is called Help From a Sister, Inc. We're located 605 Sibley Boulevard in Calumet City, Illinois. Our phone number is 872-246-7696. Our website is www.helpfromasister.com. HELPFROMASISTER.com. You can follow us on Facebook, helpfromasister.com. We also have an Instagram page at helpfromasister.com. Not last but not least, the podcast has started. You can search Sis V at helpfromasister.com for the podcast. Thank you so much for me.
No problem. We can't end it no better than that. To my listeners, once again, thank you guys for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, where our mission is to help people to deal, to heal, and to fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Until next time, you guys be blessed. Hey guys, I know you're enjoying the podcast. However, don't forget to join our text line at 866 326 0730. That's 866 326 0730 in order to receive text messages with new events and things that is going on and new episodes as they release. All right, see you in a minute. Thanks for listening to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Remember to listen, like, subscribe, and share. This episode has been brought to you by Deal to Heal Teas. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear an inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.myshopify.com. Remember, our mission is to help you to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for listening.